Can. Oof.
Welcome, everybody. Tonight we're going to be having a special guest. We have Commander Gluttony Fang joining us. Say hey, Gluttony.
Happy to be back.
Yeah, Gluttony joined us on Friday with a couple guys from AXI, and we're going to do a little bit of an extension of that. We did a Hydra on Friday when in the AX conflict zones, which are back. However, but as commanders can clear those out, since everybody was excited they're back, they've been cleared out. So we're going to just look for an unknown signal source tonight, and specifically we're going to be doing a Cyclops. So for those that haven't done Thargoids before, this is your stream. So that's what we're going to be focused on is new players. You've never fought one of these before. You're not sure where to get started. You're not sure what ships and builds to use. That's what we're going to be talking about. So if you've got questions, please post them in chat. We'll be paying attention. Aposto has already shared a bunch of links with us for Gluttony's YouTube channel, the AXI Discord. We'll talk about quite a bit. AXI, actually, Gluttony, why don't you start by telling them what AXI is?
So the Anti-Xeno Initiative, or otherwise known as AXI, is a organization I founded in 3303, November 15th. It was founded primarily to combat against the Xeno threat that emerged in that year. And so far, it's definitely have grown, and we are a academy and also a coordination platform for highly skilled strikes. So we are very welcoming to noobs and veterans alike. And we have dedicated mentors to teach new players, and we have a ranking system for those that want to take up challenges.
Pretty great way to say it. So yeah, so if you're new to this, this is I think, and disagree with me if you want, Gluttony. I think that Xeno combat is by far the most difficult NPC combat in the game. I don't know that anybody would disagree with that. It's not only challenging from just a flight and combat perspective, it's complex. There's a lot of different things to know, there's a lot of strategies to know, so that's the kind of stuff we're going to cover tonight. Right now, as you see, I'm multi-crewed with Gluttony, so here in a little bit, after we kind of talk about what we'll be doing, assuming multi-crew doesn't die on us, I'm going to stay in the multi-crew role and let Gluttony talk us through him soloing a Cyclops. So we're going to start small. We'll talk about the various systems when we get to that, the shutdown field neutralizer, the scanner, all that sort of stuff. First, I think we'll start with just a little bit of backstory as to what the Thargoids are. Gluttony, you want to give us just a little bit of history in terms of the timing? You don't have to be real specific about stuff and kind of what's going on.
Of course. So to go back to, I guess, the most, well, not exactly the most recent, but in terms of the most relevant history, in 3303 they reemerged. They are a race known to be at war with us in the past, and now they have reemerged about 3 years ago. And today we are again seeing their return in the new year after we have handed them quite the defeat in pushing them out of the Pleiades and making them retreat into the Witchhead Nebular sector. They have now made a comeback. So, to put it in very simple terms, Thargoids, from what we understand, are insectoid in a way,
Mm-hmm.
and they are an ammonia-based life form, and they have a conflicting sense of territory that is in conflict with our idea in terms of negotiation. There are negotiation attempts in the past by different races, and they were not successful. So therefore, we are at conflict with them.
Yeah, great. Great example. I mean, great definitions. And so ultimately, what it comes down to is we have this really unique foe that, in
Audio.
whoops.
Maybe
Sorry,
Daisy
my
knocked out
no,
the
no, no. My
board.
my machine just froze for a quick second. Sorry about that. Nothing bad. But I was saying that it's the gameplay is really interesting and really different. Well, your combat skills are definitely going to factor in. It is very different than your normal NPC kills. Let's talk a little bit about ships and outfitting. We talked before this, and I think we all pretty much agree that the Crate Mark II is what that was a great shot. Whoever just boosted over me in the Chieftain. The Crate Mark II is an excellent starter ship for this. You can do this all the way. I've soloed them at a Sidewinder, and obviously you could use all the way up to a cutter. Personally, I think the big ships are not well suited for this. You want something that's maneuverable, that's agile, that's going to move you around. You want a mix of shields and hull. Prismatic isn't necessarily the way to go for this. You want at least a couple thousand integrity underneath, and so I run a bi-weave hull tank crate Mark II that will be in a little later. Gluttony's only going to be able to join us for the first hour, hour and a half or so, so we'll jump into that afterwards. And Gluttony was nice enough to share his build, so let me share that with you guys. Gluttony, what are your thoughts on ships, and then we'll talk about kind of the specific outfitting that they'll want in a second.
Right. So in terms of just general ship types, there are going to be players that come into, well, pilots come into this that are a bit more familiar with different ship classes. So for the larger ship class users, they probably want to use actually prismatics to boost
Okay,
up
you
their
think so?
shields
Okay,
and just
okay.
tank through the fight. But that will only work for the lesser Thargoid variants. As you get increase in difficulty in terms of the Thargoid variants, sheer tanking might not work. You need to actually start to learn the mechanics. For medium class ships users, they are actually in luck. That is what I believe to be the most optimal starting point, because you get a mix of tankiness and uh, agility. Agility, in my opinion, is the most important thing in terms
Yes,
of combating
yes,
Thargoids.
yes.
And as long as you know the mechanics and know how to maneuver your ship, basically control it like, it's the Batman, then it will be not exactly difficult for you. For small ship users, it's small ships are more of a kind of a arbitrary challenge that you impose on yourself. It's not it has agility, but it does not have the tankiness, in my opinion, to handle the higher class variants unless you're extremely skilled, which some of us in AXI are. Uh, so in
Yeah,
my opinion, medium ship and specifically the Crate Mark II is a great starting point
great,
for
great.
newcomers.
Before we get too far into this, guys, we're gonna do another giveaway tonight. I've got one skin left from that Frontier gave me today. It doesn't fit this as well. It's the Expedition pack. I should have probably saved the Assassin one for this stream, but it's the Expedition paint pack. So I'm gonna go ahead and start that now. Let's make sure it works. I'm using a new tool to do this, so let's see if it posts in. It should be Bang Gluttony Fang to enter. So let's see if the message pops up. There we go. Yeah, okay, great, great. So we'll do that. That's going to run for the next hour. So here, when that's up, I'll interrupt at the end, and we'll give away a skin pack here. So yeah, so back to ships and stuff. I completely agree with what Gluttony was saying about agility. Now that's just me. I don't like the big ships anyway. I prefer fighter class ships and things. Certainly, if you enjoy the big class ships, you can make them work. I just don't think that not only they're great, not necessarily the best place to start. They're also, if you fuck it up the first couple times, you're going to be eating a pretty big rebuy. I know that when the day they launched, I used an Anaconda with we'll talk about AX weapons in a second, and I want to say I went through like 150 million in rebuys that first day, just playing with everything. So yeah, let's talk about weapons now, Gluttony. So tell us about the first of all the weapons that you can just buy, and then let's talk about the ones that folks might want to unlock.
Of course. So the weapons that you can simply purchase are the AX multi-cannons and the AX missiles. They are they are two different approaches, or rather philosophies, necessary to defeat the mechanics of the Thargoid Interceptors. The multi-cannons are like your normal multi-cannons. They have low single shot DPS, but and you need to maintain on target time. Whereas the missiles, they are more of a shoot and forget, but it's somewhat more of a burst DPS. But you also do need to lead. They come in size 2 and size 3 variants, and I believe the multi cannons have turreted versions for size 2 and size 3.
That's right.
So the multi cannons are well, this kind of gets into the Thargoid mechanics in terms of exertion and hearts. I don't know if you want me to go into that just yet.
Not just yet. Not just yet. We'll cover that right when we get into the combat side.
Right.
And if I'm right, there's no gimbaled variant of the AX stuff. And also, if I'm right, it's been a while since I've looked. The damage stats between the turreted version and the fixed version aren't really that different. Is that right?
There's a slight decrease in damage, I think.
Yeah, but it's one
Yeah,
of the
I
cases
haven't
where
used them very
well,
often,
yeah, fair
so
enough. And those that know me, generally, I joke that turrets are never the answer. This is one of the rare cases where they might be, right? Because you potentially are going to have much higher time on target because of them. And so I don't think of the AX turreted multi cannons really. I mean, they're turreted, so you can use them with multi crew, but they're really more the gimbal choice, and there's just not a gimbal choice. Where where normally like leave your turreted lasers and multi cannons and stuff at home on a normal ship unless you're doing something specific with an experimental effect, or there's a few cases where they work, but for the most part you want to leave the turrets at home. Let's now talk about the unlockable weapons. Tell us about the three types and the strengths and weaknesses of them.
so we're talking about the Guardian weapons. So there is the plasma charger, the shard cannon, and also Gauss. Am I saying that right this time? I don't
Uh-huh.
know. I
Uh-huh.
usually say it the wrong way. So Gauss is basically a rail gun. Shard cannon is basically a fragment cannon, and plasma charger is somewhat unique, but think of as a plasma accelerator that needs a charge up time and eats your distributor like there's no tomorrow. But so the most effective weapon to use is the Gauss cannon. We would prefer if there were viable diversity, but to really take on any threat above the Cyclops variant, you do need the Gauss cannon. So I recommend
Yep.
definitely going for the Gauss cannon.
Yeah, and I concur completely. Really, the Gauss cannon, especially if you're going to try to do one of the small chip challenges or something like that. I mean, it's the only way to kill it with something like a Sidewinder. Or I've got an Eagle here I might bring out later. They generate a lot of heat because you can't engineer them, which is good and bad, right? It's nice that we just unlock them and you buy them and you don't have to do any extra engineering. Although, certainly would be nice if we could engineer the Gauss cannon like a railgun and drop the heat off of it. One thing to point out about the unlocks, and yes, I have tutorials on all of the different modules. We'll talk about the ship launch fighters here in a second as well. The really shitty thing they did is because they're small, medium, and large. The Gauss is only small and medium. Because they're small, medium, large, and then there's turreted, fixed, and gimbaled of each variant, again, except for the Gauss. That means there are 24 individual weapons to unlock if you want them all. So you're probably going to go for the medium Gauss cannon. If you're going to use something like the Chieftain or a small class, you might go for the small as well. Then you're probably going to do a large fixed frag or shard cannon and a large fixed plasma, depending on kind of what you want. I like the plasma charger quite a bit. Again, it's a very unique weapon, so it's just kind of fun. You'll see. I'll bring that out later tonight. You'll see that. It's not arguably as effective as the shard, but you can hit it from longer range. And I don't know, Gluttony, which do you like between the two?
Between shard cannon and plasma charger, I think I prefer the shard cannon because I can get up
Okay.
close and get a few shot off, and
Yeah, and
it's very effective at taking down the panic shield. But
sure.
we'll get into that mechanic.
Sure, sure, and it's funny you say that because I actually like the plasma charger because I can keep a little more distance.
Ah,
One quick thing to point out, if and I believe this is right, if you have two crate Mark twos with three large shard cannons, can kill a Cyclops in 8 seconds. Is that still true, Gluttony?
uh, if you use premium ammo, I think yes, that's
Oh, I think
viable.
I think I've done it even with just standard ammo. With again with
Oh,
six total. I'd have to check that again. Maybe it was three large and one medium shard then. But regardless, we won't do this tonight. But if you have a buddy and you've got those weapons, and I'll double check that it's just six. You both fly right up to the thing and just go blam 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 blam, and you kill it almost instantly, right? And those pay 2 million. Is that right
yes,
for the small one?
Cyclops variant
Yeah.
pays out is 2 million.
So that's a great segue, which is the one thing that sucks about this, like everything in Combat Elite, is the pay. So, like the biggest, baddest boss battle in the game, which is the Hydra, which we fought in an AX conflict zone. We were in the zone for a total of an hour on Friday. You get paid 15 million credits, and that's it. What just happened? Gluttony, are you moving? You just went out of my
I'm not. I'm staying still.
Oh, interesting. You just all of a sudden started rocketing straight up on my screen.
What?
That was
Oh,
weird.
well, that's interesting.
Yeah, yeah,
Let me
that's
move
fine.
around a little.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you if you want to, you can. Right. I'm just in the third party camera watching. Anyway,
Okay.
so what was I getting at? So yeah, the pay is ridiculous. Now, you'll be paid in fun, and I think this is fantastic. But if you're looking for credits, this is not the way to do it. Unfortunately, I've literally told Frontier this should be buffed by 10 times. If you ask me, the Hydra should be 150 million. Given that I can find one deep core void opal asteroid and it's worth more than the biggest boss battle in the game, and that's just absurd, right? So let's see.
That would certainly make a lot of us rich. So
Yeah,
yes, we would
yeah,
like that.
and it make you rich in a fun way, right? Doing what you want to do. So
Yes.
let's briefly talk about engineering. We've talked a little bit about ships and outfitting a bit with shields and stuff, and that you want hull. Tell us about engineering for resistances, right? Because usually we really focus a lot on resistances. Tell us about that.
Right. For the veteran or new PvP players, they might be very familiar with the idea of putting on even resistances to counteract whatever weapons they might be going up against. But in terms of Thargoid combat, it's entirely caustic, pretty much. So resistance is kind of pointless. So it's best to build for raw numbers rather than going for any resistances.
Yeah, okay. And you want to do that, and so essentially we want to just care about maximum strength for our shields and for our hull, right?
Correct.
Yeah, yeah. Um, sorry, I was responding to a question. And
So
so
to
you
do that, you want to use heavy duty on the hull reinforcement and deep plate to achieve maximum effect in terms of hull. And for shielding, unless you're using a biweave, you want to do
reinforce.
reinforce and then high cap,
Yep,
I think.
yep. And you wouldn't you what would you do on a bi-weave? Would you do enhanced low power, or would you not go with reinforced?
On a biweave, I will actually also go with reinforce, but
Okay,
depending on the ship distributor, it's better to go with low draw
okay,
because it will
okay.
dampen the amount of
Yeah,
the insane draw a biweave has on your distributor.
sure, sure. And then to clarify there too, you're going to run military grade hull. There is no reason to run reactive or mirrored. Like I run reactive on most of my combat ships, but for this, there's you're just making your rebuy higher for absolutely no reason. I mean, if you've got it on there
Correct.
and you just want to bring it, great. But you're just risking more credits and getting no benefit from it, right? It also tells a little bit. We're not going to get into too many really advanced techniques like a silent running build, but just to briefly point out, it for some, especially for smaller class ships like the Eagle I might fly later tonight, I run it completely shieldless, right? So why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Gluttony?
Right. So going shieldless is one of the more advanced options, in my opinion, because Thargoid, when it comes to combating Thargoid interceptors, they have a mechanic where if you are running cold or you run at a lower temperature, they're targeting their main cannons will actually somewhat lose track of you and won't be able to hit you accurately as long as you travel at a directional velocity that is not at the Thargoid.
Yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. So, okay, so we've kind of talked about builds, we've talked about ships, we've talked about outfittings, we've talked about the weapons. Why don't we go ahead and actually the last thing I'll mention for the Guardian modules, there's the Guardian power plant and the Guardian distributor, which are both like the power plant's similar to a grade 3 overcharged power plant, and the distributor is similar to a grade 3 weapon focused. So they both make good choices for like if you're a casual, you don't do engineering, you don't have a lot of you don't want to grind out a lot of materials, which by the way, if you are kind of in that category, I would go look at my recent material gathering video. Everything in that video is still valid, and that's a great way to gather materials very quickly to engineer things. But don't feel like you've got to have certainly a fully engineered ship. Obviously, engineering is going to help, right? But the nice thing about the Guardian Power Plant distributors is once they're unlocked, like the weapons and the FSD booster, you just buy them, right? So you don't have to continually, if you're trying different ships and different builds, you don't have to continually re-engineer those, right? So don't feel like if you're new to this that you've got to have this big fully grade 5 ship or a bunch of completely done and built weapons. It just fortunately that isn't the case. Would you agree, Gluttony?
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. Don't feel that it's mandatory to grade 5 everything in order to even start. It never hurts to get your feet a little wet in the water, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah, right. I find this, like I said, the best. This is the most fun NPC. I don't really enjoy conflict zones are okay. I don't really enjoy bounty hunting anymore. I absolutely love this and don't get to do it not much, right? And
Absolutely.
quickly, yeah, and guys, sorry, I'll mention a few things. Wasn't going to focus on this too much tonight about the patch today. So somebody just asked about the stutter issue. Yes, it is absolutely still a problem. It hasn't hit us that I haven't noticed it since we started streaming. When I flew down here, absolutely, I was seeing it on the way down. So it's definitely in the game. They are releasing a patch tomorrow at noon UTC. So I plan to be up. That's early for me. I plan to be up and streaming it right when it launches, just to see how things are. It's a good thing that they had that beta and that we tested everything so that we. Oh, wait a minute. That's not what I mean at all, is it? So like I said, we won't focus too much on stuff with the new update, but yeah, very typical Frontier. We joked the other day about. I wonder what the new game-breaking bug will be, and it seems that it's a major stutter issue. So if you see that in the stream tonight, I'll probably point it out if it pops up. That's what we're looking at. So, Gluttony, why don't we go ahead and get jumped to Super Cruise and go find ourselves a target. Right now, we're in one of the systems down in the Pleiades region. We're in HR 1183. What's great about this system is, as you see, there's a station here, Ark's Faith, with a shipyard, outfitting, so you can transfer your ships and such around. And there's always things to find in this system. So we're going to be just looking for regular unknown signal sources. We're specifically looking for a threat 5, a non-human signal source threat 5. And Apostle, if you wouldn't mind, can you find my Thargoid, my medium class tutorial, like the full guide, and maybe post a link
Already
in for that? Okay, great, thank you, dude. In that video, there's a chart that shows you all of the different signal sources, what's in them, what you'll find in them. So in a threat 5, we could find a bunch of Thargoid scouts. We haven't talked about scouts, actually. I'll mention that in just a quick second. But we're looking for one where we're going to drop in and there's going to be a single large interceptor, and we're specifically looking for the easiest one, the Cyclops. But yeah, let's talk about the scouts real quick. Gluttony, why don't you tell the folks what those are and what the best way to fight them is?
Right. So the scouts, Thargoid scouts, were actually introduced, or rather, we encountered them after the interceptors. They are much smaller crafts than the interceptor variants, but they are extremely nimble and have a very small profile to hit. And they're quite agile. There are 3, or rather 4 variants. The basic variant is the Marauder. And then the 3 special variants are the Regenerator, the Insider, and the Berserker. Berserker, like it sounds, will send out a pulse that make the nearby other Thargoid scouts basically go into hyper mode and attack and
Yep.
launch missiles, caustic missiles at you. The Insider, I believe, is basically a damage buff as
Uh-huh.
well. I'm
That's right.
not exactly certain.
I know I'm 99% sure that's correct. Yeah.
Right. So the last variant, the Regenerator, is a variant that sends out a pulse throughout the entire instance and regenerate all of the other scouts besides itself. But
Yep.
when it does that, it has a aura around itself, so you can identify it and
Right,
focus
right.
it down.
It's the green one. And so for this, guys, I've got a full guide on scouts. I don't know, Aposto, if you can grab that too. That'd be awesome. Thanks, buddy. And again, just a quick shout out to Aposto. Thank you very much for the help moderating tonight, buddy. As awesome as always. So for the scouts, one of the nice things about the scouts is right now, at least I've tested after the pass, but I assume it still is. It's one of the fastest ways to gain combat rank. So if you want to grind out your combat rank to elite as fast as possible, that's the way to do it. Generally, your last stage when you go from deadly to elite, you can earn about 3% of that rank per hour, which is slow. But remember that it's a non-linear curve. So when you get to deadly, you're halfway to elite because it doubles every time.
Oh
Okay.
no, this
We got scouts, and we got scouts. Another thing that I should point out that we haven't talked about yet, and it's going to be true with the scouts, is the Thargoids do phasing damage. Okay, and what that means is they're going to do damage to your hull through your shields. So that's why you want a mixed build of hull, shields, module reinforcement, because you're going to be taking that damage even if your shields are up at 100%. Also, when the scouts die and when the big Cyclops dies, it's going to leave a caustic cloud behind it. Actually, yeah, tell us about caustic damage, Gluttony. And when you, by the way, Gluttony, if you get dropped in on one, what we're going to do, guys, because it's going to happen pretty quick, don't engage yet, but obviously go scan it first, Gluttony, and whatever we're doing, we'll jump to that as soon as you're ready. But yeah, tell us
Sounds
about
good.
the caustic damage.
So the caustic damage, it's inflicted by, well, the damage over time caustic is inflicted by Thargoid organic missiles, caustic missiles. Or when they die, they implode and it releases a cloud of basically caustic cloud. What it does is it eats away at your hull, and your hull will start to flash, as in your HUD. That represents your hull percentage will start to flash, and it will gradually tick down. And you can get rid of that by either overheating your ship. You can instantly remove it by overheating to a 250%, or you can gradually burn it as long as you're overheating.
Somebody remind me real quick because I don't multi-group much. I don't have my binding set. What's the binding that changes the mini map on the HUD to from your ship to the mini map? Does anybody remember?
Give me a second. I'll find it here. Once I
Okay,
found, I'll send it in chat.
because I'm in there right now and I just don't remember which one it
It's one of the
is.
last
Is
ones.
it
It's one of
cockpit
the last
UI
ones.
forwards, cockpit UI backwards? Is that it?
Yes, that's
Okay.
it. That's it.
Let's see. I'll just put it there for now. Okay. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. Yeah, there we go. That's it. Thank you. Got it. Got it. So yeah. So essentially, especially with the scouts, once you kill them, you've got to be very careful to not fly right through that caustic cloud, and it does damage rather slowly. So usually, unless you go through a bunch of them, it's not going to kill you. Where the cloud that's left after we kill this Cyclops, if you fly through that, you might not make it back to the station alive. There's a couple ways to get rid of that damage. One is to have a decontamination limpet with you and use it on yourself, or have a wingmate that has one. Or if you run your heat above 180% for a couple seconds, it'll clear it. Or if you go all the way to 250, it'll burn it off immediately. So you want to have a heat sink ready so that as soon as that happens, you can clear yourself. So quickly either going, if your shields are down, going silent running, firing your Gauss cannon really fast, firing the plasma charger really fast, will heat you up that quickly to burn it off. So another reason you want a module reinforcement. So, and Gluttony, when you find one, by all means, go ahead and jump in. Just interrupt me. And so right now he's
And here we
looking
are.
for great. He's looking for an unknown single source, and there we go. Okay, so what he's going to do now, and I'll talk through a little bit while you're doing this, Gluttony, is he's going to use the Xeno scanner, which only has a 500-meter range, to scan this guy before it gets pissed off and we start fighting it. At that point, generally, because the thing moves so fast, you're not going to get it scanned. All right. Now that you got it scanned, right, Gluttony?
I do.
Okay, so let me show really quickly the sub contacts, right? So, oh, I can't show the sub targets. Oh, that's right, you can't sub target in multi-crew, can you?
No.
Okay, so if I could see the sub targets from Gluttony's view right now, there's going to be 4 hearts listed, and you'll see them in a minute. They're going to be on the pedals, and they're going to light up and glow red when he gets pissed off, and that's what we're going to be targeting each time between. And actually, let's just go to it, Gluttony. And so
I'm free to engage.
I'll kind of narrate for you, Gluttony, while we're doing it. But if there's something you're doing and that you want me to point out, by all means, say.
It's always good to preemptively use a heatsink before you start your
Okay.
exertion run.
Nice. Another thing I should point out that I'll have in my build later is a really great weapon to bring is a thermal vent beam laser. You don't like. Generally, those are a great thing, though. Human weapons don't do damage to the Thargoid, and the heart's already down. If you guys saw that little spot right there where it was glowing red on that one pedal, he hit it with 4 medium Gauss shots, and that's all it takes to take it out. Now the Thargoid shields has come up. We haven't talked about the swarm, which Gluttony's shooting at right now. So that's called the Thargon swarm. How many are in this one? 16, or is it 32?
32.
32. Okay. So there's 32 of these little things that are attacking us. Again, it's going through the shields. And what you want to use that he's using, I'm trying to maybe I shouldn't track the camera that way. I'll just stay straight ahead. He's using the flak cannon, which I'll show a little later how you use it. You essentially hold the trigger, it fires out the shot, and then when you release the trigger, it explodes. So there's a special interface that shows you when it's close enough to hit. If you're soloing them in a small class ship, I generally just ignore them because you don't have room for a flak launcher. We should also point out that you get 4 AX weapons. So the Gauss cannons, the ones you buy, just the multis and stuff, a maximum of 4. But the flak launcher does not count in that maximum of 4. So, as you see, he's almost got them all nuked. And once you take out the swarm, a new swarm is going to appear at each cycle. And there comes another swarm out. That's why sometimes it just doesn't make sense to worry about it. Going up to the big bad boy, the Hydra has a swarm of 128. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Correct.
Okay. And that swarm is serious shit. Like if you get focused by it and you're in a wing, you need to deal with it, get away from it. It'll fuck your day up pretty quickly. So the contest is still going on, guys, for the ones that have just joined. For folks that are new, welcome. We've got Gluttony Fang with us doing some Thargoid content, learning how to take one of these down as a beginner. And if you want to enter the competition, please do. It's bang Gluttony-Fang to enter in. We'll do that giveaway in about 37 minutes. And so, Gluttony, talk to us what we're doing right now. We're waiting for the shields to drop. Is that what you're doing?
Right now, I'm just taking out the swarm.
Okay. And
There's only one left.
I see that. And the reason I asked if he's waiting for the shields to go down is in between each cycle of killing a heart, its shields are going to come back online. Those, for a Cyclops, dissipate, correct me if I'm wrong, in a minute and a half. And then that way, if you're
yes.
if you're in a small class ship, you don't have to worry about trying to get through its shields. Gluttony, let it force lightning you if you don't mind. I just want to show
Sure,
folks
let me
that.
take out the heart.
Yeah, perfect. So as you see that one petal that's lit up, let me zoom in on it. See that petal that's all nice and bright? That's what he's targeting right now with the Gauss cannons. And bam, 2 shots and it's gone. The shields are going to come back up here, and it's now going to, as I think you guys refer to, Palpatine us, which is grab us with Force Lightning, which will bring, no matter what you're doing, bring you to a dead stop. And
it's going to
rip
probably
your
use
shields
caustic
down.
missile as well.
Okay. If you see that
Because
inbound,
this is the second part.
Yeah. And so if you hear caustic missile, you'll see it up on the screen. In my opinion, you want to FA off, turn and target it, turn and boost, and run from it. It only lasts about, 15, 20 seconds? It's very short.
Oh, I think my ship is too cold, so it didn't use the...
Okay. It didn't caustic us because of that. Trying to give you guys as good a view from out here as I can. So we've got another swarm out, as you see. He's dealing with the swarm.
Can you talk about the weapons that you're using, like the flak, right?
Yeah.
Of course. The
Yeah.
flak cannon is a remotely detonated round that basically you hold down the trigger to send it out, and when you release the trigger, it detonates. It's the only effective weapon that you can use against the swarm.
Scouts. Yeah, or swarm. And unfortunately, like I've always wanted a fighter that does... Okay, there we go. We're getting grabbed by his lightning. And the lightning only has an 800-meter range. So as long as you stay out of that 800-meter range, you're fine. The lightning is going to take your shields completely down, for the most part, depending on how strong your shields are. So that's why, again, you need a mixed hull tank and shield tank build. Trying to stay tracked on the guy. Where is he? Sorry, not trying to not make you guys dizzy. And there he is. So now we'll go in for... His shields are up right now, so we can either, as I said before, wait. And like when I do this, when I solo this in a small class ship, as soon as the shields go up, I just fucking run. Right? I just keep my distance. I wait that minute and a half until the shields drop, and then I go back in for my next pass.
Its shields actually dropped.
Okay, gotcha. I'm going to actually, you guys tell me on chat, I'm going to turn game audio up a little bit. Let me know if the game audio is too loud. I just cranked it up. There's a weird sound all of a sudden. Okay, it was just in my external camera. Yeah, there's very bizarre... Okay, there it stopped.
But you saw how quickly the shield went down. The lightning excels at taking down a shield.
Yeah.
Stop.
Actually, that's too loud for me. I'm going to turn it back down, guys.
That sound is the repair limpet.
That's
by
what
the
it
way.
is. Thank you. Thank you, M. Graham. Thank you. If that was M. Graham that just spoke up and said, I see M. Graham commented on that, so thank you. That's exactly what it is. Tell us why you're running the repair limpet, Gluttony.
So repair limpet is more for when you have the speed advantage against the Thargoid. You can get out of its range and just kind of repair your ship. It also repairs your canopy if you have it slightly cracked, which it did when it lightning me.
So I guess I could use, and this is I just jumped in the gunner interface, guys, which actually, this might even be the better view because you can see our shield status and such like that. So I think I'll stay in this view. If somebody prefers the other view, chime in and I'll go back to the other one. But you see he's repairing us. I feel like using repair limpets is a little more advanced technique. Do you agree, Gluttony?
Uh,
What I mean by
yes.
that is it's more to think about, right? It's
Yes,
it's
definitely.
yeah.
Because of how cold the Crate Phantom is, I'm literally boosting around without it being able to hit me because my temperature is so low.
Yeah, you mentioned that. Talk to the folks about what you are doing right now. We haven't really talked about too much, combat tactics.
Right, so what I'm doing right now is I'm perma boosting and orbiting around the Thargoid. The Thargoid interceptors are very agile and they're quite speedy as well. But what you can do is travel in an orbit around it, which will makes it harder for them to target you as long as you're colder than the basically cold running temperature. And it will give you a fair distance from them so you don't get lightninged or by any hit by any other mechanics.
Yeah. In fact, there's a challenge that AXI has to kill one of these with 0 damage. 0 hull damage, right? You come in on 100% without repair limpets, right, Gluttony? Like for that challenge, you're not allowed to use
Right,
repairs, right? Yeah.
no repair limpets.
I've gotten so close. I've done 99% like 3 or 4 different times, and I just get so damn frustrated I haven't gone back to try again. And we can see Gluttony.
I'm going to showcase the thermal beam now.
Okay, great. And you're running, it looks like a gimbal thermal vent beam, is that right?
Yes.
Yep.
Turreted might be easier for a beginner, but
And this is a case, this is a case where you could bring the turret, right? Now, I would argue that the turret's it's going to hit the target so much less that I think even the gimbal is fine. And are you running a long range one, Gluttony?
yes,
Yeah,
long
okay.
range.
Just a quick note about thermal vent beams. You never run thermal vent with efficient. The short version there is they basically cancel each other out. So the efficiency of the weapon dimming its heat so much means there's not enough heat in the weapon to vent that heat. So you're always going to use lightweight, which is what I prefer generally because you get a distributor decrease like you do with efficient. Either lightweight, long range, which is very popular because you get 6 kilometers of range, or overcharged. And in this case, you wouldn't want the distro draw of overcharged because it doesn't do any damage. And so for us right now, Gluttony, in this view, I can't see your temp. Yeah, I just jumped back in the cockpit, and as you guys see, we're sitting at 26% and the windows are all chilled, and now we're at 1%. So you can you can get rid of a lot of heat this way.
So
Really,
what we
really
see
great
now
weapon.
is the enrage mechanic, where if you do not take down a heart of interceptor within a certain amount of time, it will start to spawn infinite swarm with missiles suiciding on me.
I don't think I knew that, Gluttony.
And as you can okay.
Okay, guys. Sorry about that. It looks like the Thargoids griefed me. So I think I'm back. Chat, if you guys can confirm that you can still hear me and that everything's back going again, that would be fantastic. Make sure my controller's still working. Join multi-crew. Oh, that's cool. I knew that I was in multi-crew and asked me to rejoin. That's nice.
Fluffy Bunny Feet 42 says the Thargoid EMP'd the stream.
It did EMP. Hey, and look at that. Oh, wow. I gotta admit, that's pretty impressive. I'm right back in the ship. That's Given how bad
Patch
Multicrew's
did
been,
something
That
good.
happened to
I
me earlier when we were doing the multi-crew.
yeah.
I logged out from the screen and went right back into your ship, and I thought, wow, that's
I've got to
great.
admit, I've got to give him credit for that. That's very nice. Okay, sorry about that, folks. Okay, great. They hear us. Okay, so where were we? What were we talking about? I think we were talking about we were talking about
Enrage
the.
mechanics.
Oh, exactly. Sorry. Yeah, go back to that, Gluttony.
So yes, enrage mechanic is if you do not take out a Thargoid Interceptor's heart within a certain amount of time, it will start to release basically an infinite amount of swarm that goes one after another and try to suicide on you. I don't know if you caught the footage of them kamikazing on all of the swarm.
I don't think I did. I think that was happening just as you were mentioning. And the
Okay.
swarm doesn't. The missiles the swarm fires are not caustic missiles, correct?
They're not, but
Yeah.
they do caustic damage.
When they hit you, yeah.
But they
And
don't.
so
They do not produce damage over time.
right, and let's clarify that real quick, guys. So the damage the Thargoids do isn't necessarily absolute, it's caustic. So yes, it ignores all your resistances, but there's a difference between that caustic damage and the caustic damage that once it hits your hull and stays on your hull, slowly melting you. So there's a difference in those two. And I tell you what we'll do at the very end. Have you got a decon limpet, Gluttony?
I do.
Okay, so at the very end, once we kill this thing, we'll actually fly through that caustic cloud briefly just to show you guys what that looks like. So, okay, so why don't we go back to it, Gluttony, if you want to go ahead. We're down 2 hearts now, right? Or are we down 3?
We were down 2, yes.
We're down 2. Okay, so we got 2 hearts to go.
In the case of the interceptor being enraged, your easiest bet is to try to take it down as soon as possible. Oh, and my drive went offline.
Yep, and we got Palpatined.
Because of the lightning.
And so you guys can see we got a nice up close right now of that one. I'm trying to keep it in frame. That one red heart.
Not done with me.
And we're getting Palpatined again. It's actually kind of fun to watch this from the third-person camera. And we just took out the heart. You'll notice, guys, we were getting some module.
Oh, I actually got exploded.
Oh, you sure did, and I just got kicked. Dude, what happened?
I got kamikazed by the swarm when I was getting like.
Epic. Okay, somebody's got to fucking clip that. That's great. When's the last time you died to one of these?
Me, I died to a Cyclops on stream. This is.
That's. You're gonna get shit for that.
I'm gonna get made fun of for permanently now.
Sure you are. Well, I tell you what, at this point, Gluttony, why don't we then, because we've talked about this enough, I'll jump into my Crate Mark 2. Let's just wing up, right? And we'll go kill one relatively quickly. That way they can see my first-person view of the same fight.
Yeah, I thought that would probably be a better perspective for the viewers.
Let's briefly, I'll mention the Thargoid fighters, the Guardian fighters. I've got all 3 of them unlocked. I've got 2 of them with me right now, so I'll bring an NPC. There's no reason to not deploy the fighter, right, Gluttony?
The fighter will kind of distract the swarm, which
right.
will make the swarm travel in a strange pattern that your flag will have a difficulty hitting. But if you're soloing, if you just want to use the fighter, it's most efficient if you do it after you have taken down the swarm.
Yeah, and so there's 3 fighters. There's one that has essential, I can't remember the names of them, but there's the Shard Cannon, which I think is the Javelin. There's the Plasma Auto Cannon, which is similar to the Plasma Charger I'm going to use. It's a rapid fire, kind of like the CQC one, and I can't remember the name of it. Is that... No, that's the Trident, I think. And then there's the Lance, which is a small Gauss cannon fighter, which is probably the best of the 3. The main issue is while they have decent shields, their hulls are made of paper. So if the swarm or anything breathes on them, they die, and they're completely worthless for NPC human combat. So leave them at home for that. Although for VR players, the cockpits of them are just fantastic, right? They're just. I'll switch into it quickly at one point just to show it to you guys. And so I'm jumping out right now, Gluttony.
Sure. But just to add, I guess, to the point of being blown up by the by a Thargoid Interceptor, it's very easy to die to them if you don't work with the mechanics that they have. Even it doesn't matter if you're a veteran or a beginner, if you don't understand the mechanic and don't work with it, one simple mistake can basically end your attempt.
Okay, I've got a threat 5 locked, by the way.
Go for it.
So the fighters are great. There is also an AX version of the Taipan, which is arguably the best one to bring. It's the tankiest hull and shields. If like the Guardian fighters are a real pain in the ass to unlock. They're probably about 90 minutes each, and you do have to unlock each separately. The unlock for it's kind of cool. It's where you go out to the Guardian beacons, and so it is fun the first time. It's not fun after you've done it about a dozen times, but so they are fun to use, fun to be in VR, but they're just unfortunately not very effective. And I don't understand why we don't have a flak launcher fighter, because that would be the most useful fighter there could be. Right? You get a buddy to take out the swarm for you and deal with it during. And I just dropped Gluttony, and I'll tell you what I've got.
Okay.
I have got one. So I'm going to
Okay.
now
One
switch,
second.
guys, to my Xeno scanner. You'll see that right now. So I'm going to fly up to the guy, wait till he's 500 meters like now. And let me get my hard points out. That'd probably help. And as you see, I'm getting him scanned. Apostle, if you see something like normal in chat that I should address, just toss it in, because I'm definitely not watching chat now. Okay, so now if we look...
I am. Go ahead.
Great.
Sorry.
We've got no, you're good. We've got 4 sub-targets here, and these are going to switch from nominal to exerted here in a moment, once Gluttony and I are ready to go. You ready, Gluttony?
Yes.
And I'm pulling and charge. Let me show you this real quick. If you pull and hold the plasma charger, you get a big burst, or you can go rapid fire. Rapid fire generates heat really quickly, as you see. So I'm going to just pull and hold, wait till it fully charges, and here we go, Gluttony. 3, 2, 1, go. And all right, we
Now
see
that you
there's a
guys
heart
are-
exerted already. It's that one. And I'm going to pop a heat sink.
Can you guys
How'd I
talk a
miss
little bit
that?
about the differences and pros and cons of Mark II and the Phantom as you fight here?
Right. So the Mark II is a more beginner friendly because it can be tankier and it has an additional hard point.
I let it grab me. I wasn't paying. I looked over at chat. So this is what you don't want to do. Get away.
But Mark II also runs hotter and has a less controllable boost, whereas the Phantom runs much cooler, and when it boosts, you have much finer control over it. So for people who are more of a veteran in terms of AX combat, Phantom will probably be an easier tool to use with certain mechanics, whereas Crate Mark II is more versatile and beginner friendly.
You guys will see this new little graphic on screen if you're watching for the flak launcher. And so I'm going to go after the swarm right now. See if I can hit it. When it gets close, you'll see that if I get an actual close shot, it'll go to, you'll see it kind of light up full. If I can land a shot here. And so I pull and hold, and keep missing.
Do you want
I
to
also
try to engage
meant,
the swarm?
yeah, I'm coming to you. I'm trying to. I also meant to put on my thermal vent beam and just fucking forgot it. It's back in the station. I switched ships so quickly. Like all combat, really active pip management is going to be a very good thing to be doing. So you should see me pretty active with my pips. Come here, bitch. For those that know, I suck at combat in VR. All right, I'm going to go after the Goid again.
Exegious, why don't you guys talk about the cycles and heart things?
We have, but yeah, Gluttony, why don't you talk us through that again real quick? The different
Sure.
phases that we're
So
going to
the
go through.
Cyclops variant have have 4 hearts. So every time a heart becomes exerted, if you damage its hull or its main body to a certain percentage, for the Cyclops it's 20%. So when you reach 80% hull, one of its hearts become exerted, which in that case it will flash red. Let's exert it real quick to show everyone.
Yep. When he's yellow
Now it's
like
exerted.
that, yeah. And so now, let me show you here on the sub-targets, we've got that one heart that's exerted, and now you can see that's the one that's lit up. And if my rail aim doesn't suck, I'll take that out. I'm a little far. There we go. And you guys saw that pedal basically break off and explode. Oh, I'm getting too close. Okay, there we go. And so now we see, if you look in my targeting scanner in the bottom left where his hull's at 60%, you can see that his shields
Caustic
just came
missiles.
up. Yep. As soon as I see that incoming caustic, I sub-target or target my next hostile or most hostile. And then I just turn and boost, and now I'm just going to kind of watch it. I'm a little far away, so I can come back in. But I just want to pay attention to that. Oops. I said I was going to be active with my pips, and then I'm not. Let me go back to the swarm since it's on me. So, yeah, here we go. So, come here, baby. So, yeah, this will be a great example. You guys will see it light all the way up and release. And release. And let's again. And so I want to explode it as soon as it's right in that sweet spot. Good old reverse-key flying. Okay, there we go. Killed the whole swarm. So let's head back to the big boy. And I probably would have potentially given up the flak launcher for a thermal vent beam, or I might give up one of the plasma auto chargers or the plasma chargers because they're not. It's not super necessary for this. I enjoy it, as you see. Like, I'll show you the other way it fires. You can just rapid fire it, but your heat will just rocket up doing it that way.
Question for Gluttony. Do you
Yeah.
use mouse and keyboard, or are you HOTAS?
Mouse and keyboard.
Yeah, and I think most know that I'm a HOTAS player. Boy, my rail aim sucks tonight. I'm going to turn the game up for a second, guys, just so you can enjoy a little bit of it. Actually, I'm going to go full volume. Pips and weapon sets. You don't want to do that. Got another heart inserted. And it's down. Go in the bitch.
Did you put full pips to weapons and then ram Thargoid X?
I didn't mean to. I glanced over at chat really briefly and then looked over. Oh,
Caustic missiles.
again. And you see I just fired off my shutdown field neutralizer. Let's see if I was too early. And I stopped it, right? So if you guys notice, we didn't talk about that much. Let me turn. Oh, shit, I was too early. God damn it.
Oh.
So you want to fire that. Was that weird timing?
No, it's a glitched one. Instance
Okay.
messed it up.
So generally after you take out the third heart, you want to wait until, we didn't really see it, but he's going to kind of flash blue. Generally, I count 1, 2, 3, and then I press and hold it, very much like ECM. And you hold it, it'll pulse out to 3 kilometers, and any wingmates you have within that 3 kilometer range will also be covered by it, and you won't get shut down like I am right now.
To elaborate a bit more on the Thargoid Interceptor's damage source, as in where the damage will come from, the swarm will absolutely demolish you if you leave it alone. It can kamikaze you by turning into missiles and just completely blow you up through their shields, or it can come from the main cannons which the Interceptors itself has, which can destroy your modules if you are unshielded and do not have module protection. So the swarm is comparatively more dangerous than the main interceptor, therefore it should be always your priority to take it down unless you know what you're doing.
Exactly. Or be very actively avoiding it. And so now, let me just make a pass and I'll show you guys. If we look at the sub-targets, we've got a single heart left, and it is exerted. So let's go back in and take that out. pop a heat sink. So I can just go super active. There we go.
Hard down.
Down. So now we've just got one last phase of shields, and we've got his hull to kill. And usually this phase goes pretty quickly. Another caustic missile. So I'm just going to dodge that. Actually, you know what? I'm going to let this one hit me so you guys can see what happens. Come here, little fucker.
Do you have a decom?
I do not. I do not. So,
I got you. I have one.
great. So now if you guys look at my hull, you'll see it slowly can decrease, and this will continue until either Gluttony heals me. Don't worry about it, Gluttony. I'm just going to burn it off, or I'll burn it off, right? So to do that, we're just going to rapid fire this guy.
Swarm is coming at you.
I see that. Come on, baby. Fire, 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 fire. All right, there we go. I'm above 180. It should just take a second here, and there it clears. Now I'm going to fire a heat sink to kind of not keep burning myself to death. And now let's take advantage of that heat sink and go back in for the kill. So you see his hull's at 6 as soon as we drop those shields. And there go the shields. Little fucker. And there we go. Oh, I should have turned the audio up better so that we could have caught that. So, you guys now see this, if you can be ready to heal me with this one, Gluttony, you'll see this huge cloud in front of us. There's a few things that drop, like the Thargoid heart. Do you guys still have challenges to bring in the heart?
Not at the moment.
Okay.
But sometimes we run events where we do have them.
Yeah, so we can, if we had a collector, we could send a collector, because the caustic cloud doesn't fuck up the collectors, right?
It doesn't, but usually it's a good idea to just wait for the cloud to dissipate.
That's what I was just about to say. We can sit here and wait, and the cloud is growing, so I'm going to go ahead and fly into it, and you'll see, there we go. So I'm going to start melting pretty quickly, and let me back out of it, and Gluttony, if you want to go ahead and clean me. So he's going to fire a decon limpet at me. Actually face you. There we go. So you see the limpet coming inbound. Or it's not like life support where when you cross the threshold of a station, it clears it. You have to actually touch down. And once you touch down, bam, it cleans it right off.
We might want to back off a little bit more.
Yeah, okay. Guys, just under 10 minutes left in the giveaway. If you haven't entered, I only see 39 people have entered, and I see 130 on stream right now. So, boy, you guys are giving them some good odds. Please go ahead and enter. It's exclamation Gluttony-Fang to enter. So, there we go. And the caustic just cleared off, right? Yeah, and Mgram just posts. Oh, is it not? I'm not flashing anymore.
As the cloud is in
Oh, sorry. My caustic cleared. Yeah. But the cloud is still here. When that's done, I'll go in. Actually, I don't think I've got any cargo space. Yeah, I don't. Otherwise, I could go in and scoop up the heart. It's worth like what, 60K?
Yeah, it's not worth a lot.
Yeah.
Unlike the sensors and probe, but it has a pretty interesting visual.
I'm gonna fly up. Yeah, I'm gonna fly right up to it and show them. And Mgram just posted in a great comment, which is the pay of these things. The Cyclops is 2 million, the Basilisk is 5, the Medusa is 6. Forgive me. The Medusa is 10, and the Hydra is 15. And yeah, was that Spartacus I heard?
Yes, it was me.
Shit.
Are level 11 members eligible to enter for the giveaway?
No, technically, if somebody already has, because I didn't point that out, that's fine. Because of the way this bot works, I'll decide that later. If level 11 members did, sign up already and happen to win, that's fine. Generally, I don't like that, but for this one, it's okay.
I kind of hadn't thought about it, and then I had already done that.
Yeah, don't sweat it.
X is all about new subscribers. The customers that are already here, loyal customers, exactly. They don't get any love.
And obviously, I just don't want any accusations of impropriety and favoritism. That's obviously what I'm going for.
We should start an in-house thing, though, where it's something where, level 11 members can win something. too.
Yeah, no, I agree. Well, and I think I'm probably being overly cautious with that. So if you guys see, this is what the hearts look like. They are nice and creepy. I'm just kind of giving a pan around it right now for everybody. That was actually pretty good timing, Gluttony. Since you said you had about an hour, do we want to do a basilisk? What's your time like, Gluttony?
I think we're gonna do a basilisk.
Okay. So we'll head back and repair. Obviously, I'll grab my thermal vent beam. And the basilisk is quite a lot harder. These things jump up in difficulty very, very quickly, and then jumping to a Medusa.
Yeah, the Cyclops to Basilisk variant in terms of difficulty jumping is definitely the highest. I think that is agreed upon in pretty much the X community.
Yeah, you said Cyclops to Basilisk is the biggest jump. Is that what you just said?
It's the biggest jump you will ever have to do in terms of difficulty. After that, it's just gradually ramping up. But yeah, on Cyclops to a Basilisk is a very steep learning curve.
I'll admit, I don't get a lot of time to do this because I'm working for you guys. But I've only soloed a Basilisk like once and have failed a dozen times. All right, guys, we've got 39 entered in the contest now. Get your entries in. Actually, you know what? Let me refresh this and make sure that the little crash didn't fuck it up. Oh, god damn it. Did I hit drop too early, or did it just fuck me up? Sorry.
I am 1.28.
Okay, that's what I did. Okay, it dropped me 1.02. Okay, there we go. I did update it. We've got 69. 69 people are entered. Perfect amount.
Oh boy.
There we go. One of the things I can do, guys, is you can actually set limits or set like boosts for people. So I might actually set it that anybody's a member, it actually decreases your chances of winning. I might look at something like that so that you can still win, but you certainly don't have a boost. So yeah, just over 5 minutes and we'll give that away. Probably about the time we get outside and get ready and find the next one. Right before that, we'll do it. As is tradition, guys, after we do this, and this one we might actually do a little bit shorter, so it's a little easier for people to digest later. We'll do what we always do and play CQC. So if you're new to CQC, if you've never played it, if you hear shit about it, if you think it's terrible, it's not. The biggest thing that sucks about it is trying to get a match, which won't be an issue tonight since there's a lot of us. So if you've never done it before, please come join us. It's an absolute blast. You don't need to be in Discord. However, if you do want to give us a shout out, join the Discord. I'm kind of watching the live streaming channel, so you can comment in there. We'll probably just do Team Deathmatch. We've got enough. Maybe we do Capture the Flag, but it really is a ton of fun. Okay, let me get my thermal. Should I still bring a flak launcher, Gluttony?
Yeah, I think it's good to show that.
I'll get one of. Yeah, I'll get rid of one of the plasma chargers then and just bring one because it's not like those are all that important anyway.
Do the combat bonds you get for killing Thargoids count toward the engineering?
No. You know, that's a good question.
I had to think about it. I saw the question.
That's a good question.
But,
I bet you they do actually, because when you do that, you're just doing a Pilots Federation bond, and that's what it is. So I don't see it's an awful hard way to earn that bond, but I don't see why it wouldn't. And the only engineer that unlocks that way is who is it? It's not Lee. Who is it? Somebody remind me, because I
was trying to remember the name of it.
Yeah, because Todd is just bounties, not bonds. Yeah, somebody remind me who does bonds.
I feel like you would be going out of your way to do it this way, though. It'd be funny.
It's a lot harder way, right? And by the way, I probably should have cast. All right, it froze. Okay, good. It froze. Well, it froze again, but it didn't. It just froze briefly.
Looks like just audio.
Yeah.
Stream.
So I should have probably cashed in because it's possible I'll die doing this, but 4 million's not that big a deal.
Well, if I can die to a Cyclops on stream.
Decker, that's right. It's Briss Decker. That's true, Gluttony. That's That was pretty funny. And yeah,
I'm
if
gonna get
it's
made fun of forever for that.
hey, it wouldn't be the dumbest thing I've done on stream, so don't worry.
But hey, it's well, I remember your serious turn landing.
Oh God, yes, I remember that. Yes, that was pretty
But hey,
fucking
if
bad.
anything, it just shows the audience that anyone can make a
That's
fatal
right.
mistake in these
That's
fights. You need
right.
to be vigilant and pay attention.
Let's see. Do this. Give me a sec, guys. As you'll see with my fire groups, guys, one of the things I like to do, by the way, is I like to keep a common weapon on one of the fire groups so that, for example, other than my scanner and shutdown field, I always know where my Gauss cannon is as I'm cycling through stuff. Let's actually do that. Let's do it that. Yeah, there we go. All right, let me get to Super Cruise. So now we're looking for a threat 6, which might be Scouts and a Cyclops. If it is, you know what? Gluttony, if that happens, let's just do that to show them what Scouts are like.
Sure.
Another threat 5. Threat 5s are usually the most common. And yeah, I see Mgrams talking about the AX conflict zones. Those generally pop up. When are they? It's right after the tick, right? So we'll see them on Thursday, right?
So first, you have incursion is the state that takes place after infestation. Infestation is when there are Thargoid activities in a system that is designated by the Eagle Eyes installations installed by the Aegis, although I'm just throwing out technical terms. So Aegis is a human organization that was created to kind of combat against the more recent Thargoid resurgence. And they created installations where you can decode messages that inform us when and where the Thargoids are interested in invading, basically. And those systems go into infestation where they have Thargoid activities, but if we don't take care of them through either destruction of Thargoid vessels or other logistic means, it becomes incursion, which is when there's an actual
Alexa, stop.
Thargoid conflict zone and stations are destroyed.
Yeah, and I'm showing right now the
damaged.
listening post that's here in HR 1183 because that's one of the Eagle Eye listening posts, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I just quickly was showing it in my nav filter. It's under points of interest, so just so folks know what that is. Okay, let's find a threat 6.
Do you want some more cannon fodder?
For right now, after we Gluttony and I kill this one, sure, but let's just stay the two of us right now. Actually, if we find a Basilisk, yeah, well, there's a threat 7. That would be a Medusa.
Or
who was that just asked that? Or a Scouts and a Basilisk. Or Scouts
yes.
and 2 Cyclopses, right?
No, actually,
okay,
I don't think that is an instance. That's more of a high prediction or a fixed instance.
And by the way, Maligno is on chat right now, who I have to brag about I think he was in chat, I thought earlier, who has soloed 2 Hydras by himself. It took over 4 hours, and I don't remember all the stats, but it's something like 92 heatsink reloads, synthesis. It was just absolutely batshit crazy what he went through to do that.
Yeah, there are definitely some very, very skilled pilots in the AXI. Unfortunately, I think many have surpassed me by far in what they're capable of doing and the skills that they have developed.
Yeah, that is
and
just
I even learned from them.
amazing.
But that's what the initiative is about. We teach, we execute high-level strikes, and yeah, we just like to see people grow.
Okay, guys, so entries are all over. Let's go ahead and I found a threat 6, Gluttony. And by the way, was it
okay.
Ava? Were you going to join us? Do you want me to add you to the wing?
I'm sorry, I was muted. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, there you go. I just sent you a wing invite. Another thing quickly, if you get zapped by the Thargoid or shut down, it turns off your wing beacon. So be ready to be cycling your beacon on for your wing mates. So let's pick a winner real quick and Shabanga, the Pro Rock PL. You are the winner. So if you will reach out and contact me via Discord after the stream, I will get you your price, your coupon, or your code to redeem it. So yeah. Thanks everybody for entering. We got 79. It's not too shabby. There you go. Great. Rock is even here. I love it when the winners are actually still in chat. All right, guys, I'm going to drop it on this threat 6. And I say whatever we get, we'll do. If we get a Basilisk, we'll fight it. If we get a Cyclops and Scouts, we'll do that. We'll take them.
Sure.
Yeah, congrats, my friend. Like I said, whoever won I can't remember who it was. Somebody won a copy of the game today, and I haven't heard from them yet. I generally give people like a week, and if I don't hear from them, then sorry, somebody else gets it. Okay, here we go. Dropping in. Looks like we got Scouts. A shit to only Scouts. All right. Well, let's do just Scouts then. I tell you what, I'm even going to go ahead and jump in my fighter, and I'll use this as an opportunity to show you guys the fighter.
That's the best way to fight Scouts too. It's so much.
Well, it's
fun.
also a great way to get my ship.
Although,
dead
let's see if your ship runs away.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. That's right. There was a bug where as soon as you got into your ship, and as you see, I got breathed on and died. It looks like it did, Aposto. I'm 8 kilometers from the fight all of a sudden.
I can't believe it does that.
So now we get to really laugh at my rail aim tonight. And we're not going to, in fact, we're not going to do this for long. Let's go ahead and jump out, guys, actually, because I don't want to take too much damage from these so that we can't do, the Basilisk. So
okay.
I'm just going to go ahead and out. So you see, like with a threat 6, you get 12 of them, I think, something like that.
I'm not sure the exact count, but yes, it's up there.
I also was going to see if I saw any healers. I don't see any of the healer ones right now. Thought maybe I would show that.
Well, it makes sense to run away, X. I mean, if your AI is going to run away, then
True.
what the heck are you?
True. But yeah, there was a bug, and actually, when we get the Basilisk will kick my ass if I do that. But you would get into your fighter, and all of a sudden you'd get a warning that you were 30 kilometers away from your ship and you were going to explode. And you look, and literally your NPC put full pips to assist to engines and just went full boost speed running away from you. Which, from a lore perspective, is kind of funny actually, because they nope the fuck out right away.
Has that been reported in any kind of forum or thread, or
does that
have
really
you ever heard
do
of that, Gluttony?
Is there any reason to
report into that?
I'm not actually, because we don't usually use fighters, so I'm not sure personally that it's an intended behavior that, your NPC is just like, well, you're on your own.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up
by
for
the way,
this.
guys, I've got a threat 6. It's 240 light seconds away, so if you guys find one closer, let me know. But I'm heading to it right now, so. Okay, so we got a question. Futini, I think I'm saying that right. He said, I've killed more Cyclops than I can count. What am I missing with a Basilisk as I cannot nail them? Gluttony, you want to take that?
So, right. So, in terms of a jump from a Cyclops to a Basilisk, one Basilisk variant is strange in the sense that it's much, much faster than all of the other variants. I think its top speed is 540-ish. So, your traditional tactics where you just drift indefinitely and reverse ski on them will usually not work unless you're in one of the faster ships. And on top of that, their whole exertion time is longer than the Cyclops by quite a jump. So you need to also get used to a longer exposure time to incoming fire unless you are doing code running and orbiting, which in that case you're dumping heatsink and you really don't have much to worry about. But it's likely that you are not doing that, so you're getting exposed to way too much fire, and then your ship can actually take. So, yeah. So it's just a matter of practicing the aim more to reduce exposure time to take down a heart, and also perhaps trying out cold running tactics or low temperature tactics to reduce the damage you take from exposure time. One of the most important things, I think, when it comes to fighting Thargoids, especially the harder variants, is patience. Firing everything you have at it solo is usually not a good idea, and you will find out more and more about that the higher you go in terms of variance.
By the way, guys, I'm just about to drop. I see a question about rank right now. I haven't done rank grind in a while, and I can't remember where Petty Chief is. You're not, I don't think you're quite halfway there yet. So if you think about everything you've done up until now, you've got to double that. So you've probably got, my gut says you've got 3 or 4 hours left of running missions. It's been a while since I've done it, so I can't. In fact, I need to do an updated video on what the current rank grind method is. So here we go, guys.
So
I'm going to drop.
So actually, sure,
Right
go
now-
ahead.
Go ahead, Gluttony.
If it's a Fed rank, then using the Thargoid incursion when stations are on fire is usually the easiest way to grind Fed rank.
Okay, gotcha.
Because their missions are constantly generating, and for Federation, it's very easy to do.
Okay, here we go, guys. I'm dropping now. Let's see what we got. I'm going to try to scan it. Looks like we're good. Yep, we got a basket. You'll notice these look quite a bit different. Not quite a bit, but they're definitely different. They're a bright red. And scanning. So this will have 5 hearts. Okay, he's scanned.
On lore, it just means that they were scarred more than the Cyclops variant, so signifying that they're veterans.
Okay, let me know once you guys are all in. I see Gluttony's here. Just saw somebody drop in. Cadra's on the way. I'm going to go ahead and deploy my fighter, which might piss him off. Let me tell him to just hold for a second. You can also, this is also a place to find, let's see, there's not, yeah, Thargoid probes. In fact, I was doing a video on that here recently to find probes and specifically the sensors. And yeah, look, we found the sensors all day long, Aposto, and there's a probe sitting there when I don't need one.
Exactly right.
You'll also see him here in a second. He's going to be scooping up these occupied escape pods, if there's any, there's not. And basically, like, what are they doing with occupied escape pods? That's kind of fucking creepy.
Backyard barbecue parties.
I guess.
Oh boy.
But
But one of the interactions that Thargoid Interceptors have with the escape pods and meta alloy is that...
okay, here we go, guys. He's pissed. So, engage at will, and here we go. So again, you'll see me using the thermal vent beam. We got a heart exerted already. I'll just try to keep my distance since he's on me. Oh, shut up. I love when the fighter complains to you for help. It's like, dude, you're helping me. I don't care if you fucking die.
Oh boy.
All right, I'm going to go to the swarm. In fact, Cadra, if you've got a flak launcher, if you can deal with the swarm for us, that'd be fantastic.
I'm sniping. I don't have one on this one.
Okay, no sweat. Ava, if you've got one too, I mean, I don't mind doing it,
Sure
but
thing.
I don't want to just show that the whole time. That's the other thing I really enjoy about this. It is very much a team sport. I'll turn the game up just a little bit. And sorry guys, it's really difficult for me to watch chat right now, so if I miss questions, if Bosto misses questions, just let us know. It's also a lot harder. One thing we didn't mention before is once a heart is exerted, it can unexert if you don't do enough damage to take it down. Like this one. And again, I'm just firing the beam to vent off my heat. There we go. Heart one down. Nice shot, Gluttony. I think that was you.
No, I think it was
Was it
Star.
Ava?
Yeah.
Damn it. Get off me. Get off me.
I'm experiencing a little issue with hitting the heart.
Let go of me, bitch.
The Basilisk Lightning is also with the previous variant. Missile incoming.
Get off me. As you see, I've already taken quite a bit of damage.
Yeah, the swarm is deadly.
Yes, it's all the fuck over me, too. Hey, you know what? We're testing the new rebuy mechanic for the fighter pilot. That's what we're doing. I'm just about to
What's
be
your
fucked.
favorite fighter X for the Guardian?
I mean, I think the Lance, just because it's the most, it's got the Gauss cannon.
Swarm
The
stuff.
Trident is pretty fun with the, if that's the one with the plasma autocharger. It's just a cool weapon. In fact, I need to get my fighter out.
Second swarm.
The Trident or the repeater.
The plasma auto repeater.
Plasma.
Yeah.
Yeah, that thing's a light show. It's awesome. But I think the Gauss Lance is probably the best. That's what I would.
And there we go, dead. All right, let's respawn quick. This is the only bummer that we're pretty far away from the station. It's going to take me a bit to get there. And yeah, Chaos, I actually already have a video that covers the Crate Mark II and all of the techniques we've talked about tonight, including a build for it. So, Pasto, if you still have that link handy and could throw that in, that'd be great. So if that's what you're looking for. Oh, you know, here's a question. Does it put the crew back in your ship? Let me check that real quick. It does. Okay, that's
Swarm is
nice.
down.
That's nice.
Second swarm.
And as I go through the ship build, yeah, bye bonds. Oh well. As I go through the various ships, the build videos I've been doing lately, I plan to go through every ship in the game. And so when I get to the Mark II and the Phantom, I will absolutely share I'll probably work with Gluttony to get builds from them actually to what they recommend.
Sure. We do also have a lot of resources available on our Discord, including guides and ship builds. So
yeah. And I'm actually, Gluttony, working with Mgram to migrate some of the top level ones into the site that I've been working on, the tutorial site.
yes.
Yeah. I was assuming you're aware of that.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah. Night, Jonathan.
Yep, we're
Thanks
happy.
for stopping by, buddy.
We're happy to help the community any way we can.
Yeah.
A lot of the reason why we compiled so much information is to help newcomers and people who are interested, who are potential, AX community members to join the fun. Lightning, yay.
So sorry, this is a little boring as we fly back, everybody. At least I can look at chat real quick.
Hey, who's all here still? Oh.
What are you in, Kadra? What are you flying?
The Chieftain.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all engineered out.
The AX community will say you have good taste.
Yeah, I also is it the Challenger that has 3 mediums or the Crusader? I never can remember between those two. Whichever one of those that has the fighter and 3 mediums and 1 large, I would think is also a pretty.
Crusader.
I think it is too. Is also a pretty good ship for this. Given that you can get a really nice hull underneath it, you get pretty decent shields. You got the 3 mediums for Gauss, a large force say, a thermal vent beam. It's kind of like the gunship, and it's a little sloggy, it's a little slower, but at the same time, it's. Oops, go.
That heart is not going down.
Have we got a bugged one?
That's hard.
Oh boy.
Is it bugged
bounced
or?
No, it's almost there.
Okay. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's at 0%.
I'm about dead though.
Oh shit! I'll probably die again.
Okay, it's exerted.
I see that.
Yeah.
I got it. I got a bit of damage on it. So it's at least hittable. That's good.
Oops. I'm showing it. Oh wait, it's the 172. Damn it. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
52.
Everyone in the wing gets the full bond.
That's true.
Question.
Yeah.
Chat.
I'd say one of the reasons I like the crates, the Mark II and the Phantom so much is its gigantic distributor. That Class 7 distributor is such an advantage. One thing to note is human weapons do damage against the shields, by the way, guys. So when the shields go up, you can use human weapons. God damn, my railgun aim sucks when I'm not in VR. And his shields are... When he's yellow, his shields are up. Is that right, Gluttony?
Lightning.
Not necessarily.
No, okay.
But if
Or
you have
lightning,
a
forgive me.
Scanner, you're able to see. But right now, his shields are down.
It shows it pop up when you lose a pedal.
Right.
Yes, and we
And we
call
lost
it the
the
panic
exertion.
shield.
Yeah, as you guys see, these are quite a bit more work. There it is. There it is.
Got it. Caustic.
Caustic.
So Basilisk variants send out 2 caustic missiles per per ship that it can detect.
Okay. Good to
Temperature. The Medusa sends out 3, and the Hydra sends out 3. Hydra's caustic missiles are special because they travel at seeker speed, which is 450, whereas these caustic that are not sent out by the Hydra variant travel pretty much at torpedo speed or a bit faster. I'm not sure.
To clarify quickly, I think Seekers move at 650, right? So is it? Are they?
Oh, okay. Yeah, not exactly seeker, but much faster.
Okay. So it is 4. That's what I was clarifying. That it was 450. It's
450.
close to seeker speed,
450.
obviously.
And countermeasures do not work against them, as in point defense and ECM, they do not work against them.
Good thing to point out.
And in fact, if you equip point defense, a lot of your wingmates will hate you for it because you'll be shooting down their flak.
Or their and limpets too. If somebody is firing, like doing healing limpets, I would imagine it can mess with that. One thing I'll try to point out, I talked about this a little bit earlier, is how important, I'm trying to help you, Ava, is how important pit management is. If you're new to that, if you're thinking, what the hell is he talking about, and you've never dealt with it, I've got a tutorial on pit management, suggestions for, I'm a big fan of using macros for it, and just kind of the strategy you want to use behind pit management. Essentially, the idea is that you're constantly getting your distributor where you need it when you need it. So you're trying your best to not let your distributor go empty, or any of the distributors, I should say. Oops. Shit. Is he exerted yet? Yeah, there it is.
I got it.
Yep.
Oh, nice shot.
Boom.
Nice shot. That was a quick one. Okay, as you see, whoops. We've got 2 more to go.
I think the instancing issues we were having a bit earlier sorted itself out. So now everyone
Seems like it. Yeah, it seems pretty stable. When is the shutdown field for this one? Is it coming up?
It's always it happens when it has only 1 heart left.
Okay, gotcha. So we've got another heart to do before that'll happen. Hopefully this time I can actually save myself at least. Again, if you stay close to your wingmates, or if you only have one wingmate with 1 and you stick to him and you're within 3 kilometers, you're good to go.
But it doesn't instantaneously cover 3 kilometers. It
That's
has
right. That's right.
Rather quick charge up, but it's a charge up nevertheless.
That's absolutely right.
And it eats your system distributor.
I gotta go back and repair. I'm down to like 10.
Do what you got to do. You know, there's a way to instantly get back to the station, right?
Yeah.
And I got caustic. Gluttony, you around with a healer, or do you
This
mean just
build
burn it
doesn't
off?
have it.
Okay, I'll just
Just
burn it
burn it
off then.
off.
Okay.
Swarm.
How much is my buyback if you save me?
Caustic.
Oh, come on. Why am I not gaming heat any faster than that?
It's alright, I just took them both.
All right, I'm just gonna have to go silent running real quick.
Swarm is down.
Oh, come on. I never have this much trouble heating up. Let's just stay silent. That's what I need to do. Yeah, that'll do it. 400%.
That'll do it.
That's one way to get a tan.
Come on, heatsink. Burn that shit off. Now, let's see how much module damage I did. Not horribly, as you guys see.
Inserted.
On my way back in.
Oh, someone died.
Yep.
Ah, Kadri, you didn't get out in time, huh?
That's alright, man. I was cracked shield for a long time.
Can't hit the heart again. Oh.
My beam laser did take quite a bit of
We're
damage.
all taking our turns dying just to show people what not to do.
Exactly. Yeah, this is planned, guys. Yeah, we talked about this before stream. I said, Gluttony, you know, you got to die once.
Shh, it's supposed to look natural.
Oh, sorry.
It's all
sorry.
for YouTube hits.
Sorry. It's, you know, I'm going to change the thumbnail to, you know, see Gluttony Fang die to a Cyclops.
To a Cyclops on stream. Oh my god.
With a mouse and keyboard.
Oops.
Exerted. Caustic.
Just avoided that one.
Got it.
Nice, I heard it. When we
Now
get down
EMP
to
is
the
incoming.
when we
Make
get
sure
down
you
to
have
the
system.
yeah, there we go. And so now I'm sitting ready. Let me get back in close enough. Here it comes.
Incoming.
And popping. And there we go. Survived that one. Are you guys all good?
I'm good.
I'm off.
Ah, damn it. Okay, we weren't close enough.
It's all good. I was too far.
Swarm coming out.
Somebody turn on their beacon, please.
Gotcha. Got it. All right, coming back in. I'll try to get on the swarm, Gluttony, because it's all over you.
Basilisk 2, apparently.
Yeah, he's just kind of fucking you right now, isn't he? Yeah, if you turn and come toward me. There we go.
I'll try to see if I can take the Basilisk off the other. I got him.
Nice.
Alright, what's good, everyone? Just joined.
Swarm is down.
Welcome.
So,
We're just
thank you,
talking
sir.
through the stream. Okay, I'm back on the Cyclops. And what I'm going to do, guys, is once we get
Basilisk.
to thank you, sorry. Once we get the last heart is down, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to crank the game audio up for the chat for the stream, and so we'll just let them kind of enjoy the beautiful sounds.
Here's a question about support builds. I think it's kind of interesting to talk about like the flow and working as a team, because you did touch on that a little bit.
Sure.
If you want.
Gluttony, you want to take that?
Sure.
Before
Support
you get into
builds
that, real quick.
right now are not very popular because the fight is very fast paced. Very rarely you have the chance of just sitting there and let someone, repair you. But healing in terms of regeneration sequence beams are useful for those who are trying to shield tank. But if the person gets lightninged, it's more likely than not that their shield won't be able to handle it.
So
Even with a regeneration sequence going on.
Yep.
Unless there are exceptions, of course.
But having hull repair limpets and specifically decon limpets is certainly, having somebody in the wing with that is certainly a nice thing.
Yes. But most the more experienced pilots, they usually just overheat to burn themselves off and then immediately cool themselves back down with heatsink.
Sure. And we lost the exertion.
So, question. What's this stream at? You don't actually have it in your name.
It's on my YouTube channel. I mean, just on the main channel.
Right. What would that be?
My name, Commander Exegius.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, just go to YouTube and search for Exegius.
Got the
heart
heart
down. Great.
down.
Okay, cool. So now we've got one. Oh, all hearts are gone. So I'm going to crank up the game audio. So it's going to be a bit loud. Oh, is he dead already? Well, shit. That was quick. Did we get him before he got his shield back up? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
All right, sweet. Well, there we go. That was a pretty good way to redeem ourselves and end, wasn't it? All right, cool. Well, let's go ahead and head back, and then I tell you what, we'll wrap up the chat as we're heading back, and then we'll jump into some CQC. So again, if folks are new to CQC and you'd like to join us, please do. It is a lot more fun than people will make you think it is. The biggest negative to CQC is just getting a match, which we won't have a problem because we'll bring enough people. The main reason you don't tend to see a lot of multi-crew gunning is primarily because of the damage drop, right? So with human weapons, roughly here, a gimbaled weapon is going to do a third the damage of a fixed weapon, and a turreted weapon is going to do a third the damage of that, so, or 30% less, I should say. So it's quite a big damage drop. Multi-crew is just not that popular. It's been a little. It seems things have been pretty stable with the new patch, but it's not really that stable. For this, you could certainly use the turreted variants of the plasma charger and the shard cannon. There is no turreted multi-crew version of the Gauss cannon, which is by far the most effective weapon. So that's really why you don't see it. And then finally, because you can't mix wings and crew, it's just not as, you just don't see it much, right? If we could mix wings and crew, if you ask me, that's the single biggest problem with multi-crew. If we could mix them, sure, have two of us in the crew in the wing right now, and then have a friend crew in, it would be great. But we can't do
Definitely.
that. Ava, did you log out?
No, I disconnected.
Okay.
My game actually just crashed.
Okay. So at least I'm not the only one.
One nice thing with multi-crew though is you get somebody that's trying to learn the game.
Sure.
Like I've had several people where they'll go in the fighter and they'll start getting used to the joystick or the keyboard and mouse, earning some quick money to buy their ship versus doing the grind.
Absolutely, right. And if you've got a buddy that's new to the game, you can wing up with them, and anytime you sell at a market, it's 5%, right? Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. So if I go sell, 400 million in Paynite, my wingmate's going to get 20 million. Aposto, your mic is horrible. Is that just me, or is that everybody?
It's dying. Yeah, no, I heard it.
It's not robot either, Aposto. It's like something's broken.
It was like a breadstick.
That was.
Oof.
Okay, there we go. Now we got you, Aposto.
Put the breadstick away. Okay, to wrap things up a little bit. So as you were able to see on stream that Thargoids, especially the Interceptor variants, are a breath of fresh air for those of you who are used to combating against NPC or even PvP. It's a foe that you cannot just dump all of your firepower in, at least solo, and expect them to just roll over and die. It's something that it will take you a little bit of time of learning, of understanding the mechanics, and going through a few revives. When I first sold my Hydra, I went through about 2 rebuys that cost me 70 back about 100 mil, and that's with the experience I had fighting all the other variants. So yeah, it's absolutely something that I think people who are looking for a challenge will be interested in.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, I've said this many times tonight. AX combat is my favorite my favorite NPC combat. In some ways, it's almost more challenging than some PvP engagements you might get into. There's so much more strategy. There's so many more systems you have to deal with. There's so many more things you have to think through and plan, and it's complex. The graphics are great. The sound is fantastic. Uh, I'm a big fan of it all the way around. I'm really, really happy that the incursions have started again. Because one of the things we did on Friday that we haven't talked about much tonight, maybe I'll finish with this and then let Gluttony take us out before we jump into CQC, is the AX conflict zones. Extra Gluttony, why don't you tell us about those, if you don't mind?
Sure. So as we have mentioned previously, after infestation state are not cleared, incursion happens, and what you have is anti-Xeno conflict zones. So essentially, it's where you have regular NPCs on your side helping out, fighting against Thargoid Scouts and waves of Interceptors, and an infinite wave of Scouts actually until you clear the entire conflict zone. So it gradually ramps up once you first enter the instance, you fight against scouts, and then Thargoid interceptors warp in of different kinds of variants. After a few waves of different interceptor variants, a Hydra will jump in at the end, and that will be the final challenge to complete the conflict zone.
Yeah,
It's
and
very hectic, definitely a very hectic playfield. You will definitely test your mettle there, and I think it's an experience that all aspiring AX pilots should undertake at
yeah,
least once.
I think they're a lot of fun too because they're kind of like they're like standard conflict zones in that there's going to be a lot of other human pilots there, right? NPC pilots, and so you get this much more epic space battle feel out of it, right? Because you've got scouts, you've got interceptors, you've got human ships, you've got you if you bring your wingmates, right? So there's this big battle going on that's pretty great, right? So. Glenny, what else would you say? Why don't you, at a minimum, tell us? I've been posting in your YouTube channel. Why don't you maybe end if you've got anything else to share with your YouTube channel and give a little pitch there and the AXI Discord.
Sure. My channel is pretty much entirely dedicated to AXI and also Thargoid combat. I haven't really made much upload recently,
No
but
sweat.
I definitely recommend everyone to at least take a gander at the Anti-Xeno Initiative if you are interested or potentially be interested in anti-Xeno combat. And yeah, we are here to teach and we are here to coordinate high-level strikes. So definitely come join us. We'll be more than happy to have you.
Yeah, and I'm going to be doing some collaborations with AXI. I kind of teased. We're hoping this will come out the next week. I kind of teased a website that we're working on that they'll have a piece of. I talked to M. Graham to basically say, hey, let's start getting a list of of different things that you guys like that I haven't yet covered in a video that would make sense. Like I've kind of wanted to do a video specifically on like the flak launcher, kind of specifically on techniques. The guide that Aposto's pasted in a few times, and if you've got that Aposto and could do that one more time, that'd be great. The full guide that I have covers pretty much everything that we've covered tonight in 9 minutes or whatever. It's one of the longer ones because there's a lot to it. I also have, it's a little less guide. I guess it kind of is a small class guide. So if you want to do this we didn't bring my Eagle out tonight, but if you want to do something in a small class, I think the best I've ever done in a Sidewinder was. I don't think I've done it at 90% hull, but I've been in the high 80s in a Sidewinder with right around 1,000 integrity. So it shows you that there is a huge strategy component to this. And shit, did I see that Maligno did a Medusa in a Sidewinder?
Yes.
Yeah,
Recently.
which I mean that's just yeah. Sorry, don't have that skill. That's really really damn impressive, and it took him an hour and a half, something like that.
It definitely took a lot of practice and also expertise developed through many impressive fights. But yeah, it just shows that there's skill ceiling is so high that you'll take pretty much forever climbing. There's almost always a new high. People always pushing the limits and the boundaries of what's possible, and it's really heartwarming to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I want to just kind of end out here before we jump into CQC and say goodnight to Gluttony. Don't feel like you have to have a fully engineered ship for this. Sure, it helps. You want to focus on things like thrusters, engines, or excuse me, thrusters, hull definitely, shields for sure if you can. But don't feel like if you don't have every engineer unlocked. I mean, you could do this easily with the first 5 engineers. If you've got Felicity Dweller, Elvira, Todd, and Celine Jean, she's probably the key because of hull and armor. That's more than enough for this. If you're gonna unlock, if you really want to get into this and you want to be remotely serious about it, do spend the, I don't know, hour and a half it takes to unlock the Guardian Gauss cannon. That it's the main weapon we've been using all night. That's really the one that's going to elevate you. If you do this with just AX multi-cannons, yeah, that's going to be a lot more challenging. You can do it, but having that Gauss cannon is definitely the one to go for first. So if there aren't any other questions, thank you again for joining Gluttony. It's been great as always. And yeah, let's jump into CQC. If there's folks that are in chat, that let's do it like this. We kind of do it this way. And what I'll do, guys, is I'm going to stream the first match or two in CQC. I'll then say goodnight so that I can jump into VR and have some fun. And you guys don't want to watch me stream in VR. So if you're going to play CQC, if you'll go ahead and I just want to see how many we've got that are in Discord, jump up to the lobby channel for me. And let's see how many we've got. Okay, we've got 5 at least. I know Aposto's going to join and I'm going to join, so we've got 6 or 7. Okay, great. So we'll have at least 8 of us. So that's perfect. Let me tell folks they can come back down here. Okay, you guys can come back down to live streaming. That was a great way to get a head count. Thanks. Gluttony, you sure you want to join us for one round of CQC before you go?
Unfortunately, I do have to go.
Okay. We did go longer than you had. Yeah, we did go longer than you had said. So.
No, it's fine. Absolutely, it's a pleasure to be here, and yeah, anytime. Yeah. You
want
someone to talk about.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anti-Xeno content, definitely, I'm here.
Absolutely. So for those that haven't, please go head by Gluttony's YouTube channel and give him a follow or a subscribe. He does have some great content on there. Lots of different fights. If you want to watch one of the masters at this do it, that's what you want to go see. So thanks again, Gluttony. And yeah, I'm sure we'll do this again sometime soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thank you for having me.
Great. See you, amigo.
Later.
Okay. So for CQC, let's jump into that. So always a tradition here, guys, that we end Tuesday nights with CQC. So if you're new, and I should have said this while Gluttony, of course, not necessarily to him, but starting potentially next week on Monday nights at 8 Eastern, and I might add a second one on Wednesdays depending on interest. We're going to start doing a weekly event called Sidewinder Slaughter. What that is, very briefly, and I'm going to put out a tutorial video covering it and the schedule and everything, but essentially you get a bunch of guys at an anarchy station. Everybody starts in a bone stock off the showroom floor Sidewinder. You can't change anything. And then every time you die, you can upgrade or upgrade/replace or add one module on every spawn. So if you're new to combat and you're not great at it and you die 2 or 3 times really quickly, you're going to have an upgraded ship pretty quickly. So it really starts to self-balance quickly. There's also a really interesting strategy component that pops in because, hey, if guys start bringing gimbals, you bring chaff. If people are bringing, rail guns, maybe you go with mirrored hull. I mean, so there's a lot of strategy that factors in. Do you do thrusters first? Do you distributor? Do you, where do you go? Every time we've played it, everybody's loved it, so I'm going to make that a recurring weekly event. So look for that video here this week. In fact, maybe if there's enough guys around tonight after this, I need to get a group of us together so I can capture some footage of it, so I can do the video for it. So yeah, it's
like a league.
I wouldn't say that necessarily because it's really hard to keep score. There's not really any way to score it, so it's really just about fun. We'll probably do it where each match would last 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes, and at the end of that, everybody goes back to a bone stock ship again, and then you go through the ranks. Really, the only way you would win is when the time's up, whoever has the least upgraded ship, but there's nothing to really track that, right? We just kind of have to do honor system to see. So it's one of those things that it's just you win if you're having fun, and it's a ton of fun with 0 repercussions, right? So
I think somebody's trying to ram you.
Well, I'm in CQC. It's
like
CQC menu. So if you're joining us for CQC, get to the team deathmatch menu. We're going to start here very shortly. Is there anybody that's not ready to go? That's what I wanted to hear.
About my internet is screwed up right now.
Yeah, we can tell. If you're able to join Aposto, Aposto is the highest ranked CQC player in our group, so he usually doesn't necessarily instance with us anyway because of the matchmaking. And the only thing, pack hounds only only medium class, and I should mention this: there are no seekers allowed, no guardian modules, no power play modules. Right, seekers are just way overpowered for that. So yeah, no seekers. You can use dumbfires if you want, but no seekers. No mining lances. Although I almost would allow that. So okay, for CQC guys.
So we're starting with team deathmatch.
We're going to start with team deathmatch. We might do a capture the flag here in a minute. So if everybody's ready, go ahead 3, 2, 1 and click on team deathmatch, and we'll see if we get a match. But yeah, seekers pack outs would be way overpowered for that, like ridiculously so. Yeah, I need to start drinking something. My voice is starting to go.
Knob Creek 100 proof whiskey, best whiskey in the world.
Oh, dude, there's no such thing. I fucking hate whiskey. I can't do whiskey, scotch, any of the bourbons. I'm not a big drinker anyway. I do really enjoy a really nice tequila. That's my drink of choice. Give me a Don Julio. What is it? 1892. Yeah, I'll drink that all night long. Okay. Has anybody got?
Is that the one with the worm?
Well, mezcal is technically the one with the worm, but they're same process. Evening turret.
So it's gonna look like we got 2 different games going.
Do some of you guys already have a match going?
Yeah, I'm in there with Spartacus, a couple other guys.
Okay. I'll see what I get paired with. Apostle, were you trying to jump in?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. We heard that. Yeah, Denton, I've always been a fan of tequila. Like, just give me a glass of tequila neat with a wedge of lime in it, and I'm set.
Cheap date.
Oh, I'm a really cheap date actually. Like 2 or 3 shots of tequila, and I'm certainly not driving.
Star Killer, where are you at?
I'm with Spartacus.
Yeah, I'm in the match. I'm the one talking to you. Where are you at? I got you.
Right behind you.
Okay, and of course I'm not getting a match, so we'll see how long. If we wait too long, guys, I'll just go ahead and say goodnight, and we'll just play offline.
I got a match with one other person.
Okay, I'm surprised I'm not getting matched with you guys. Let me back out.
I haven't got a match either yet.
Okay, I'm going to back out and start team deathmatch again. You can form squads to try to help you instance better. We find that it's not worth it. It takes so long to form up the squad, and then even if you bring a squad, it'll split you. It's just a nightmare. This is one of those modes I've said many, many times. I don't understand why they don't add CQC to the mission board, right? Where you take a mission to fight in a CQC tournament, and if there's not enough commanders at the time, hey, they've got NPCs that can fly ships. Toss them in and let us bring this to part of the main game. Bojangles, which HOTUS did you go with, my friend? See some chat about he set up a new account and re-unlocked everything on PC. And is looking forward to his first kill on a PC with a HOTUS. Well, this is exciting frontier gameplay, isn't it? Yeah, I'm not a big sparkling water guy either, especially mineral water. I can't stand mineral water. Well, maybe I'm just going to call it a night if I don't get a match here soon. I've never had it this bad on a Tuesday night.
I don't know. I think there's some people that aren't wearing the stream.
Oh, you got to be careful with that dihydrogen monoxide, Nebraska. That stuff's deadly. Right. You guys all support the.
Going right now.
Oh, we hear you great. We hear you great right now.
Yeah, I can see the ping plotter showing me all kinds of problems.
Okay.
Last. I think I'm just gonna call it an evening here.
All right, amigo. Well, are you gonna stay in chat, or are you just gonna head out?
I think I'm gonna head out.
Okay.
Looks like we're closing up. you need me to finish anything up here?
No,
for you?
no,
Looks
dude.
like
once
good
again,
night. You guys
big
did awesome
everybody.
and had
Yeah,
a fun time.
everybody thank Aposto for me in chat. He's always helping me with moderation of chat and everything. So again, I appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you, Apostle.
My pleasure. My pleasure. As always.
Of course, if
So,
you would
flying
start a
game.
channel, we could, I could
that'd be
promote
fun.
that.
That would be fun. Yeah, I'm thinking about it.
There you
I
go.
was thinking about it. We'll see. All right, guys. Have a good night. Thank you again, Max, for all you do. And,
Of course, Aposto. Catch you later. Are you? Yeah, I'll ping you offline here in a little while.
Yeah. No
Cool.
problem.
Well, guys, I think I'm going to go ahead and call it since I'm just sitting here spinning. I got to admit, this is the first time this has ever happened on a Tuesday stream. And this is what sucks about CQC, is that you sit here trying to get a match and you don't get one. And it's a shame that I can't show you guys the fun part about it when you do. So those that are new, if this is the first time you've seen CQC, please don't let this shitty experience turn you off. Get some friends. If Pasta was still here, I'd have him grab it. There's a CQC Discord you can join, so you can jump in there and try to get people to join you. And Sky, quickly, the HOTUS the overlay I use was very custom written for me. It's from an app called GamepadViewer.com. It only works with Xbox controllers and/or HOTUSes. I actually have a full tutorial on how to set up my interface. It is not easy. And you pretty much have to have stick, throttle, and pedals for mine. But you're welcome to go look at the video and see if you can make it work. A few commanders I know do use it, but it is very highly custom to me. So yeah, and all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead because I'm just still sitting here spinning. I'm going to go ahead and say goodnight. Thank you so much for everybody that joined. Let's see, this Friday, who do I have lined up for this Friday? I think this Friday I'm going to have Alex Turner, who is known for a couple of his mega threads on the forums, and is one of the leaders of Buckyball Racing. And so we're going to talk about Buckyball Racing, which is a number of different challenges they do. For example, one is the fastest challenge to Colonia. This one is a little more intricate than that. You've got to have cargo, you take it to a ring, you drop off cargo there as a tribute to some lore thing. You have to enter and exit stations, in something on full boost. So like a courier is very popular, like a modification of the speed courier build I put out recently. So yeah, I've never actually done a Buckyball race, so I'm going to check it out this week, and I think we're going to talk to Alex about that on Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern. So that's a little more geared toward the European folks. So again, thanks everybody for joining, and I will catch everybody soon. Take care, everybody. Good night.